Hi everyone, and welcome to the Curious Pastimes second edition launch video. We're really excited to share with you the new rules.
We wanted to take the opportunity to take you through some of the broad themes and broad changes of the new rule system that we've been debating and building over hundreds, if not thousands of hours over the last year or so.
As you'll well know, we've had the old rules since the start of the game nearly 30 years ago. This brings everything that we love from that version of the game into something that's going to take us through to the next 30 years.
We appreciate all of your patience in waiting for us to come together, but it has been a considerable labour to bring 26 years plus of history and condense them down into this new system.
What we really wanted to do with this set of rules is keep to the core values of Curious Pastimes.
So we want our game to still feel like our game, and we wanted to take those lessons that we've learned over the past 2 decades and use those to build an even stronger foundation for the coming decades. And at the heart of that is collaboration and interaction with other players, but it's also wanting our characters to feel like complete characters so that you can get stuck into the game straight away. As a new player, or even playing a brand new character, you can hit the ground running from day one and feel like your character is fully developed and fully fleshed out.
There's going to be no hidden barriers within the rule set, so everything is plain to see. And if you want to expand your journey a little bit more, then there are avenues to expand that journey.
We know that discovery and exploration in our game is a big theme and something that many of you love, and we wanted to keep that level of discovery for you, but we also wanted to clarify how you go about training and research. So that's all been brought into the rule set as well.
We want to encourage collaboration within this new rule set, and also encourage your character's story to progress as far as you wish it to progress.
The way we have structured archetypes where everyone can do something and be really good at it, but not everyone can do everything and be super amazing at everything. You'll still need friends and allies in game to tackle some of the things the game will chuck at you. We want our characters to feel really epic and feel like heroes, but not at the expense of locking other players out of the game. There's room for everyone in this game, and we've tried to keep that as a really central tenet as we built out these rule sets.
So there's going to be 4 archetypes in the game. That's our creators. These are the people that make and shape things with their hands. Your alchemists, your crafters, your surgeons. There are magicians. You pretty much know what you're doing there. There's your spellcasters, your ritualists, your invokers, your conjunctional magicians. Then there is the scouts. Scouts is a bit of a sort of catch-all category for characters that live on their wits. So thieves, rangers, diplomats, people that use their sort of skills to keep ahead of the game. And then there are your warriors, who will have a sort of wide range of opportunities from them, from kind of brute force to artful finesse to strategies and leadership. So you've got 20 points, just you're used to. You'll use those to buy skills from sort of 2 lists: the general skills, which are very similar to kind of the skills you're already familiar with, the basic sort of list of stuff you can do. And then each archetype will have a list of skills for that archetype. You're not limited to only taking skills from one archetype. You can take what we call cross-archetype skills, but there are going to be limits on it. So we want to sort of encourage you to try and focus on one of those 4 paths as much as you can. Then there are going to be sort of some very sort of specialized skills, ones worth sort of 11 points or more on the table, and they're going to be very focused. They are the pinnacle of your training, so you can only have one of those skills on your character. We've kind of restructured the skills, so there are fewer sort of skills you take multiple times. There's some really specific ones: income and resources, extra magic points and extra work units. I'll come back to those in a moment. But generally speaking, body development, for instance, there are sort of special tiers of the skills. There are things that aren't skills. So you no longer need special skills to read and write, to perform arithmetic, to make or read maps, or to fight with a single dagger-sized or one-handed weapon. All those are just going to be abilities everyone has. Throughout the wiki, in the archetype pages, you'll find a few example characters at the bottom for inspiration, just if you're kind of wondering what a character in that archetype might look like. There are 2 resources that some characters will have. There are magic points. This is sort of a single pool of magic power that a magical character can use to sort of cast their spells, perform their rites. And then work units you're already familiar with, but they're going to be restructured slightly. There's going to be a single pool of work units that a character with sort of creation skills can use for brewing potions, crafting goods, or performing surgery.
Every character in Curious Pastimes will now be subject to an overall cap of 100 points. And there are 3 main routes that you can progress your character after you've spent your initial 20 points. Firstly, every year you can gain experience points. So you will gain 5 experience points at the first event you attend, and then 1 experience point per subsequent event you attend, to a maximum of 8 per year. As you accrue these experience points, you can either save them or you can spend them as you see fit. You can also gain new skills through training and research pathways. This will allow you to progress more quickly, or you might gain additional skills through different pathways, such as your faction specials, which is gained through plot interaction. With your archetypes, you will select a primary archetype, but we know that people like to multi-class, so you are able to put points into secondary, tertiary archetypes, and this is at a 2-to-1 ratio. So for every 2 points that you put into your primary archetype, you can spend 1 point in a secondary archetype. The intention behind this really is to promote that collaboration between players, while still allowing people to develop quite diverse and different characters from one another, and not be a bit of a cookie cutter. As always, if you're not that far down your character's journey and you've taken some skills and you find that they're not gelling for you and you're not really getting the benefit out of them, please talk to us and we'll be happy to show you the routes that you can take in order to change those up.
Rather than everybody receive 2 silver for turning up to each event, we have decided that the most exciting thing we can do is give players the option to choose whether or not they're going to receive income. There will now be an income skill which can be chosen multiple times. The base level, which is very cheap, will give you essentially the same experience as you have now, which is 2 silver per an event. However, if you keep investing in this skill, you can take it up to the point where you will be receiving a substantial amount of income at each event. In addition to income, there will be other resource gathering skills. These new skills should allow you to determine what you are receiving. Not everything will be 100% predictable, but you should be able to narrow down what it is that you're after and then try and get hold of that. We expect there to be a lot more resources in the game, whether it's materials such as wood or herbs or whatever. We also have changed how things are made in the game. One of our ambitions is that we want to see more things in the game. We want to see more items. We want to see people doing more things. As part of managing that, all materials and items now will expire. What we want to make sure is materials are flowing around the system rather than getting stuck. However, because refinement will allow you to extend the life, you can, by making things more useful and more powerful, keep them going a little bit longer, but ultimately materials will exit the system over time. Items can be maintained indefinitely if you're prepared to keep paying the maintenance cost. We like the idea that if you make your special sword that was important to your grandfather, or it was something that killed a legendary creature and you want to make sure it doesn't exit, that you have the opportunity to maintain that item. This is a different type of economy for the game. It's a different type of resource management and distribution. It is focused on getting things into the game and having them move around the system to allow you to do cool stuff.
If you have sort of constantly accumulating amount of stuff out in the game, you tend to have to start making targets higher and higher and time scales longer and longer to try and manage it. Whereas if we know everything's going to cycle out, we can sort of bring down the kind of targets and difficulties for these things so that players can sort of feel like they're getting more achieved.
Research and training. So it's become kind of a bedrock of Curious Pastimes. So we're really keen to expand that and open it up to all players. So firstly, you no longer need to have a specially acquired skill to do research. If you're doing magical research, you no longer need to have special tools to do research. You can get some, but you don't actually need them to do it. All you need to do to start your research journey is have a archetypal skill, and you can start researching in that area. As there's lots of different types of archetypes in the game now, there's lots of different flavors and different ways of progressing. You can go and train if you want to at the Bastion, and that allows you to learn any of the skills that are currently in game, but also advance on those if you already have those levels, and advance up that way in a more tutor taught style of learning. If you want to expand out from that, that's more of a research thing where you can create new and special abilities that have never been seen before. To do this, we're making one universal tracker for all of your study called study units. You have 5 study units per day and up to 70 study units per year to use on whichever area you want to go and discover. So we now have 3 levels of research accessible to the player base. It starts at novice and then moves on to adept and then to expert. Anybody can learn as much as they want in novice levels in multiple different areas. When you move on to adept, that's when you're really focusing on what you want to be as a character and what your story arc is. So you can only move on to adept in one area.
Thank you for listening to this video. We know it's been a lot to take in and digest. We hope you're really excited about it. We certainly are. We're going to continue sharing blogs and videos which dive deeper into these topics and some of the why behind, and we'll aim to answer as many of your questions in these videos as well.
We want to make sure that when we hit event 1 next year, you will have all of your wonderful magic items ready to go with the new rule sets, the new wordings, and make sure they actually fit with the new game. In order to do that, we really need your help. We need you to send us information on the items that you have, and hopefully as early as possible, so that we can make sure we do all of that work for you and it's ready to go.
So I'm sure you will all want to know how you start to transition your characters to the new rule set. So on the wiki today, there is a page under transition that is the outline principles of what that transition is going to look like. Then before Christmas, we will release the new version of the website, which will allow you to play around with new builds of your characters ahead of activating them for event 1. The way we're going to convert the points is for every vet pick that you have currently earned, we will convert that to 8 points in line with what is 1 year's standard progression under the new system.
So yeah, once the wiki has sort of got into a sort of final shape based on sort of your feedback and our kind of ongoing review of how everything's working, we'll turn the wiki into a downloadable, printable sort of PDF. For people that like having a physical copy, especially for use in the field. It's probably going to be a little bit lighter on the text, but we'll have sort of the core rules, the rules there sort of clearly spelled out.
So obviously taking in all this feedback means that we are likely to make tweaks and changes to things as we discover unusual circumstances and edge cases that had not been considered. In order to signpost these, because it is going to be a very large wiki, the wiki will have a recent changes page where you can go and look at changes that have been made from a period of time. Also, we will publish those automatically to the Discord server. So if you're on the Discord server, you will see those changes in real time.
With a new rule set like this, there are a lot of moving parts. We think that this is going to be a living rule set because we don't want to leave it another 30 years before we think about new ways of playing the game. As part of that process, we will have some dedicated channels, whether it's a new Facebook page or a dedicated email or Google Forms, for people to feed back to us. We really want to hear about the things you love. We really want to hear about the things that you don't understand yet. We really want to hear about the things that you are struggling with as the game actually launches with these new rules. All of those things are important to us. So please reach out, tell us what's going on.
And also we want to extend a massive thank you to everyone who has taken part in this process, who has either given us feedback via feedback forms or come to one of our many meetings, or been one of those who spent those hours talking and debating these new rules. Thank you. We hope you are excited. So yeah, buckle in and we'll talk to you soon.
It's too many things, really. There's so many kind of new skills and things we put in there. I really want to see how they work, and how much fun they are, and which ones don't work. So yeah, just really thrilled to see what people do with it.
I can't wait to finally bring these rules to life and see how they go live in the field after 2 years of them being concepts in our brains and endless discussion.
I'm really excited to see, with the extended skill set, the stories that players go off and create over the next 30 years.
I can't wait to see how people play with rituals.
I can't wait to see how people engage with the world, especially around magical research, now that we've made it so much easier to start on that path.
The gym posting memes.
You're not wrong.